Добрый день, дорогие друзья. Спасибо.
Good evening, dear participants. Thank you for having connected to the online class, The Sacred Doctrine. And today we are beginning one more stanza. Today is a solemn day, as we've already considered the first stanza, all 9 slokas, and today we are opening the second stanza. Of course, importance of studying the sacred doctrine is evident, and we're happy to welcome all participants who've joined today. Despite anything, despite the serious situation in the world, despite the sanctions, we're here and working in one field, studying the sacred doctrine, the fundamental work for the third millennium, given by the great compatriot H.P. Blavatsky. Dear friends, in this time for 2 semesters we've been studying. The first stanza consisting of 9 slokas, and in this time we've seen listeners from different countries of the world, the great geography of Russian cities and towns, Philippines, Moldova, Belarus, Uzbekistan, Canada, the Great Britain, Australia, the United States, Bolivia, Nigeria, India, Japan, Pakistan, Lebanon, Indonesia, Finland, Spain, Mexico, Norway, Germany, Estonia, Turkey, Greece, the Netherlands, Kazakhstan, Sri Lanka, Brazil, Mexico, Italy, Colombia. That is a great, vast geography. Almost the whole world is presented here and is interested or has been interested in the sacred doctrine in this period. And our online class has been viewed by more than 6.5 thousand people, and it means that a fundamental knowledge of the sacred doctrine is in high demand in the world today. So we're happy to touch upon this great material with you today. The first sloka has been considered, and the first stanza has been considered, and we're ready to start the first sloka of stanza 2. And we hope that all knowledge that is to be presented today contributes first and foremost to easy understanding and unity, because if we unite in one field, we create impetus for our own creation, creativity, and understanding. As we say, any sloka of the sacred doctrine is limitless for us, boundless for us. So the online class, The Sacred Doctrine by H.P. Blavatsky, devoted to first sloka of the second stanza, Dhyan, is declared open, and the floor is given to Vladimir Yary, the Theosophical Society of Russia, Adamant Lodge, the School of Theosophy, Russia, Moscow. Good evening, dear friends, dear participants. So we are beginning this day from the thought of the day, Gems from the East, by H.P. Blavatsky. As I'd like to say, this should be understanding that the thought of the day has its phenomenon. This day manifests this thought, and we should understand it and act according to it. The cause is what H.P. Blavatsky wrote, but we should get the consequence, and the consequence is what we get according to this cause. So we are coming to understanding connection between cause and consequence that is expressed through connection of these causes and consequences called nidanas. You know perfectly that nidanas are presented as animals. Why animals? It can be explained that as nidanas have emerged according to feelings or senses and instincts that let us maintain life as form, as mind. So it's important. And animal nature can be revealed in the spontaneous plane of senses. What we should pay attention to is that these animal representative of the evolution is inside us. And we should bring it up. So the thought of the day is the following. If thou hast done evil deeds, or if thou wouldst do them, thou mayest arise and run wherever thou wilt, but thou canst not free thyself of thy suffering. Here is connection between cause and consequence, the karmic law. And here we come to the question what karma is. Many misunderstand it. Karma does not punish. It does not have this function to punish, does not have its principle to punish. There is no such principle. There is just law of maintaining harmony in the world. So according to this law, karma is done as a boomerang. This magnetic connection of magnet, of gravitation and repulsion is working according to this algorithm. What we put into space we have in our worldview. Let us come once again to understanding nidanas. In the glossary of nidanas, Madame Blavatsky says, the great note in the end she has about nidanas. As nidanas are part of the most subtle and deep concepts of the Oriental metaphysical system, there is no opportunity to study this question deeper. But it's surprising that before Madame Blavatsky explains what nidanas are, that it's connection between cause and consequence, the clutch between cause and consequence, and fully describes their meaning. If we open the Theosophical Glossary and read without any prejudice about nidanas, we understand that they have set 7 manifestations as a person does. So they are needed to understand ourselves. But why? In order to achieve freedom, liberation from the illusion about the world, not to live in eternal consequences, but to try to come to causes. And this way we can leave the samsara state of our mind. By reading about skankas and nidanas and gaki and pali, these notions should be found in the glossary and understood. Any notion. And this way we are trying to go deeper and making understanding of ourselves subtle. And we are concentrating on our wishes, what we want to do, and thus we're understanding thoughts of our mind, reasons, and what makes us do so, because they are in the thoughts, and the thought is created out of what we're thinking about, how we live, what we are attached to, and what we should not be attached to, what we aspire, what we would like to feel. Our worldview is made out of these bricks, and if brick by brick we begin to start our honest, Madam Blavatsky in the glossary will become more subtle in our perception. We'll understand their deep nature or their causes and their essence. Understanding these nidanas brings us to liberation and nirvana finally. And that is why Madame Blavatsky in her last works tells us about Mahayana, the voice of silence, the key to theosophy. These last works in last years of her life were where she revealed this secret. And I'd like to mention one more role here. Each of you should be very responsible while studying these nidanas or while studying ourselves. Nidanas are caused usually by our consciousness that has feelings, and we should start here. Make our nature of feelings more subtle. These are feelings that we should get to know, feelings of heart. And that is why they say we should reveal our consciousness. When the consciousness is revealed, then the heart reveals its consciousness too. Do you understand it? Firstly, the consciousness of our worldview, taking into account our own understanding of self. And this stage of understanding the self reveals the consciousness immediately as this thought comes. Otherwise, consciousness can start to reveal and then close, start to reveal and then close. And when we create this rhyme of understanding ourselves, we are aspiring and trying not to lose this aspiration. But we are trying to keep this rhyme constantly. Then this rhyme gives rise to power that makes us capable of penetrating essence of things. There should be continuity. This is so important in understanding ourselves. Therefore, discipline of will comes, discipline of feelings, and control over our will comes. Then our worldview starts to grow, and it can grow to infinity. So boundlessness can also be taken as a notion. Skankhis are revealed up to boundlessness of the revealed. As we come through samsara sphere, as we understand that we don't know, then we can start to understand the darkness, the emptiness of any form of life. Any feeling, any knowledge, any wish. Try to imagine that our personality is empty. And that is where we start the motion of understanding ourselves. If you know, there is the secret of Nidanas that was revealed by the life ethics by Madame Roerich. Agni Yoga gives us the full decipherment of the human being, external, mental, and divine. Full interpretation, but everyone should come on his or her own to studying this great science, the sacred science. It is sacred only for the person who is not aspired to understand himself or himself, and who is aspired. For him, it's flowers, it's an opportunity, it's the best treasure in the world that can be attained by a person. And everyone has free will that can always switch on. Time is cycle, and our consciousness develops according to these cycles. So there are the 12 nidanas, which are the essence of the human being. We can say, and Agni Yoga tells us, that the human being is an elemental. And if we say that there is Triloka, or the spiritual and moral world, that is the basis we should put for our consciousness. Then from elemental, from the animal, we can become immortal people. And from immortal people, we can become asurs or devs. Becoming asurs or devas, we can become nirvanakayas, synthesizing all gakas. What I'm saying right now, Gagya, Triloka, and when the person is born, he or she has some skandhas, this group of skandhas, that is the basis of the personality. Namarupa. When every person starts to understand these parts of knowledge from the Theosophical Glossary, we'll start to learn according to these books, because the Sacred Doctrine glossaries and what Madame Blavatsky was writing are our textbooks, tutorials, where you see some line that reminds you of something. Please look for answers everywhere, in glossaries everywhere, and then what you find will be positive, will be essence of connection needed, of this connection between cause and consequence. You'll find the essence. That is what brings joy in being a student. Mahayana is very responsible teaching.
Вам о каких-то сочетаниях Нидан,
And telling about combinations of Nidanas with time having passed, with 30 years having passed. Then we can see the whole system working. And I come to conclusion that we can describe combination of Nidanas, but we should all we should turn our consciousness to give rise to this thought. I remember these moments from Camera School when there was some elderly women coming and writing every line, every word, and every person was told Nidanas, moment, and day, and week when they were born, and they were writing everything down. As the class started, it was held every week. The class started, and people who were writing it all down were still asking, but when was I born, and what can be told about me? And it all took place for the whole 7 years. These moments meant that we should dig and dig and find these gems, our needed direction of thought.
So, Nidanas for today, the era of Aquarius, the blue monkey, symbol of harmony and beauty. The era of Aquarius is in the Aquarius constellation, is Hierophantus, is the blue monkey. If you notice, you may see that the Aquarius symbolizes the spiritual cross of the wheel of time. The spiritual cross symbolizes by itself these 4 hierophants: the yellow snake, the red tiger, hierophant of the constellation of Leo, the constellation of the yellow Taurus, yellow snake, and constellation of Scorpio, black boar, and all they are symbolically related, all these nidanas. For example, snake is mind, tiger is birth, boar is manifestation of the consciousness, and the monkey is the beauty of the thought or the beauty of the human being. Yet the stress is always made on the thinker, the cognizer. The main sector of the Aquarius, the era of Aquarius, makes us be responsible to our thoughts, because our evolution, today evolution, depends on at what extent we are able to synthetically and harmoniously think. Our thoughts should be pure, light. This is our era. But for that, we need to make our organs of perceptions thin, refined. And these nidanas let us get more refined in our senses, to be able to perceive the necessity and the reality of today. And according to the thought of the day, if you has done evil deeds or if you want to do them, you may run wherever you want, but you will not free yourself from suffering. You see how important it is to mind our thoughts and our intentions. The century of the white dragon, the symbol of completion. The white dragon is also called Pava. Pava is a karmic mediator. or guide, who brings every alive being, every consciousness in certain existence, which is called Gati. So the existence of the worlds where they can be born in a certain shape or form in order to be able to continue its evolution. This is the mediator between the incarnation of the human being from the thin world to the thick or dense world. This is our century, the year of the black tiger. The black tiger tells us about birth. This birth of a spiritual human being, because first of all, it is situated in the spiritual part of the cross of the wheel of time. It is in the Scorpio constellation and in the secondary waters, in the womb of the nature, the womb of the mother nature. It is not the human mother who gives birth to the child. We are talking about the space which gives birth from the space of consciousness of every individuum. It gives birth to the spiritual, moral being, moral personality. The month of the blue dragon, which is here in the golden section of the wheel of time, in the spiritual sector, and its central points, called the golden section. The blue dragon, the blue dog, the white goat, and white Taurus, a bull. The bull symbolizes Adam Kadmon, Christ, androgynous, which means that the female and male parts are in the synthesis. It is a very powerful coded potentiality of the divine nature in the human being. In this Adam Kadmon, as a projection or reflection, which should be reflected in every spiritual soul of every person, in every consciousness. There is all potentiality of the future moral and spiritual person. And the blue dragon itself symbolizes the engendering wisdom. So when the spiritual person gets born, it's the year of our black tiger, when the spiritual person is born. And through the knowledge acquired in the spiritual world and the moral nature, the blue dragon starts to manifest the divine thought. And in this consists its wisdom. And its joy, it's the blue dog, which tells, according to this wisdom, that the person becomes or acquires the possibility of self-neglection. From the final maturity of skunk. So when the skunk gets mature, which means all desires of the material world, when we have pursued them, we have manifested them, we have suffered through them, and then we achieved denial of the skunks. And this is called the maturity of skunks. Then these groups get dissolved, and the person gets free from selfishness, from egoism, and strives to the common good. The personality becomes altruistic, working for the common good of everyone. The year of the blue boar And the week symbolizes the blue boar and tells the following. First of all, it is the Nidana number 9. And number 9 means it is spiritualized matter, spiritualized consciousness. And this spiritualized consciousness symbolizes the philosophical consciousness. The blue boar is the property to manifest the spirituality in this world of phenomena. The capacity of the boar, of its consciousness, to operate powers which are called understanding. Understanding in action brings us to awareness. Our day is the day of the yellow Taurus. Another point of this golden section, together with the blue dragon, 2 points gives us the possibility of stable state of our consciousness in this world. The stability is in realization of wisdom. The bull is realization and dragon is wisdom. So we need to realize the androgynous part, impersonal, personality, essence, and organize it through love. The yellow goat is the symbol of joy for the yellow bull. Thus, only the sense, the feeling of love may bring us to the androgyny. When our consciousness will be able to perceive the world intuitively. And in this intuition, as the female energy, the spirit can manifest. The spirit of understanding, of comprehension manifests through the feeling of knowledge, through wisdom. And this is our point to stand on. Then our personality will be able to understand and to perceive, to pierce the essence of things. This is the combination of Nidanas for today. And it tells us a lot. First of all, about philosophical consciousness, about Adam Kadmon, about the divine wisdom, about love, and about personality, who, following its individuality, can grow and make the phenomenon world of better quality, live the quality life, manifest it. The following is the first sloka of the second stanza. What do we see here? Where were the builders, the luminous sons of Manvantaric dawn? And here you see the question mark. Surprising is that Helena Petrovna in this sloka of this stanza, she told everything just at once. There is no question, because right here we have the answer. Where were the builders? Where were they? The luminous sons, she explains, the luminous sons of Manvantaric dawn. And if only it was a question, where were they? We also have the answer in the unknown darkness, in the Ahiparanishpana, the producers of form from no form, the root of the world. The Devamatri and Sabhavat rested in the bliss of non-being. In astral bodies and doubles, Elena Petrovna explains this sloka, the first sloka of the second stanza, and she gives a very short explanation. there's not much text, but why? Because everything is clear. It is explained very clearly in clear words. Of course, in order to understand it, we should have read the first stanza consequently with all slokas. So when we get to the first sloka of the second stanza, we have some understanding, some image of it, and we can apply to what Yelena Petrovna says in these Dzyan stanzas. First of all, it is about the constellation of Taurus. Kala Chakra, the constellation of Taurus, tells us about an absolute state of mind in its absolute potentiality of all the forces which may manifest consciousness or mind. Hence, who are these luminous suns? They are potential capacities of the forces in the future of those qualities and features which will be used by human being or humanity in the constellation of Scorpio in front of exactly this one. There will be born the spiritual being, spiritual human being. And the first energy here in the constellation of Taurus is the monkey, harmony, which tells about the beauty, the feeling of beauty, and their measurability. These qualities and features are altruistic. Here is the essence of their potentiality in their spiritual causeless cause. Imagine there is no cause, no reason. Why? Because there is nothing personal. Only in person start all causes. All causes are being invoked by feelings. So the causes are there where there is a feeling consciousness. Yet again, if the feelings are not tamed, are not educated, the person generates the reasons for its existence. They generate the suffering, but through suffering, they purify their souls. This is how we enter this, we may say, zodiac sign, this house of the horoscope, this plane of spirit beyond all forms, where all potentialities exist in our consciousness. Better to say in the germ of the spirit. The germ of the spirit brings in itself all this potentiality. That's why the human being should awake in themselves the spirit. Then the central figure, which tells us about the double triangle. It tells us about the nature, the true nature of the human being, which contains all and is closed in itself by the astral snake till certain time be with us. It is a very thin and refined thought. That's why in order to reveal the snake so that it leaves its tail for the human Vantara, the human being should go beyond 6 directions of the space. And according to these directions, follow every destiny. every 10 years. Well, number 10 years, it means 0 or a circle with diameter, which tells us about the consciousness in action, the consciousness of the thinker, the action. And if we talk about the first sloka of the second stanza, we should mention that the state where we should enter while meditating, while contemplating, it is this meditative state where there is no causes. It is the state of causeless. That's why it is said that first of all, there was a causeless cause for everything. We should try to achieve this state so that we can generate a cause or idea which we can bring to the phenomenal world through us, manifested in the world. Let's try to get into this state of the causeless cause, and the beauty will be revealed to us. Thank you very much, dear friends, for your attention. Thank you very much. Now we know about the energies we are working in today and what energies correspond to the first sloka of the second stanza. Today, we will try to achieve some revelations, associative ones as well, to look at analogies and commensurabilities and reveal the essence. There was a revelation that in every sloka we should find the main part, the Trinity. Three main key points which will let us achieve the understanding or comprehension of the whole sloka and insert it in the jigsaw puzzle. Let us try to follow the presentation, animation. We'll try to make it so that you could follow these key points, understand where they come from, where was its root, the culmination, the climax, and how they developed further. And then we'll be able to join all that with the understanding of the stanza to sloka 1. So, where were the builders, the luminous sons of Manvantaric dawn? In the unknown darkness, in their Arhi Paranishpana, the producers of form from no form. The root of the world, the Devamatra and Sabhavat, rested in the bliss of non-being. Let us try to answer this question with the help of Elena Petrovna Blavatsky. Let us try to refer to the Tsian stanzas. So the answer is the builders were in the Aki Paranishpana, the unknown darkness. The unknown darkness is the state of absoluteness, and Aki is the potential power of this unknown darkness, which has the unmanifested breath in itself. This is the state of Paranishpana. There, all illusion or Maya disappears. The builders were in the Tian-Kohenic stage of completing the full meaning of non-being or absolute being. The plane of spirit beyond forms, which corresponds to the plane of the gods or the first seven-pointed star. The potentiality. The non-being is absolute non-being. The state, Paranishpana, without Paramata, or absolute existence. Self-analyzing consciousness, Samvidana. Helena Petrovna writes that it is not a deity, but only extinction or fading for 7 eternities.
There is an interesting state when there is no date itself, but there is just slow finish in the time of 7 eternities, that is pralaya, that is where the deity is disappearing, and then the time will come when this constellation becomes complete, and this deity, as the white light that you see in the screen, will be the full space of a non-being. The notion of Advaita given by HPB is non-duality. What is non-duality? It's a state where there is no second. Advaita is existence having no second, or the spiritual view with the main postulate being statement that behind all phenomena of the manifested world, there is one indivisible substance. And what is this substance? That is stated through the Advaita knowledge by Madame Blavatsky. It's indivisible substance, a single transcendental source, which is called the cosmic consciousness. What is the cosmic consciousness? That are luminous suns. They reveal this cosmic consciousness because the luminous suns, that is the force of rays at the dawn of Manvantara, and that is why they are luminous. At the dawn of Manvantara, there was almost complete darkness, and these suns were in unknown darkness. In the ahi, or breathing, that when Manvantara start moving, and they start breathing or making inhalations and exhalations. That is the state of Paranishpana, as the state of completing the great cycle of Pralaya. We can mention that the stop of this Paranishpana is the stop of Pralaya, or the great cycle. The key point of this sloka is described the following way. Correspondence of the period of the end of completion and the beginning of manifestation, the completion of Pralaya, corresponds to the beginning of Manvantara. And that is relation when they are the two periods, Pralaya and Manvantara, being simultaneous. The second and the third stanzas that describe the sixth and seventh period of attenuation of Pralaya. We see that the seventh one is the complete finish of Pralaya, and the sixth one prepares it. That is where we have the impetus. And the second stanza of Dhyan in the secret doctrine corresponds to the sixth and seventh period of Pralaya attenuation. And as we understand it and penetrate it, we understand that the second and third periods of Manvantara dawn, that is the state before differentiation. That is the simultaneous action of two forces, completion and start of the new cycle. The second and the third periods of Manvantara are similar to the sixth and seventh period of stop of Pralaya. Pralaya and Manvantara being the single period
Пралая не существует, как говорит Елена
of
Петровна.
action, means that there is no full Pralaya, as HPP says. There is only partial Pralaya because evolution never stops, and there is a cycle inside the cycle, or slow dissolution and the start of new. When we mention creators of forms in Sloka 2, we can say that producers of form, these are the seven rays star, the plane of mind and creativity. And the null form is the plane of gods, the first seven-ray star. And we see the planes of being that creators of forms in the plane of creativity and mind from non-forms, the divine plane, the root of the world, Devamatrika, at the pre-images, and Swabhavat at the plane of spirit. It was all being in the common space of non-being. Let us try to understand what is the root of the world. The root of the world, otherwise called the space, the cosmic space, Sapphira, the mother of Spara, Devamatri, the mother of gods. What is the root of the world? She somehow covers or maintains by her robes, motherly robes, Ein Sof, the absolute and the limitless. These are veils of Mula Prakriti in her eternal form. That is how it happens. This root of the world, or the cosmic space, that is mother, she is the robe, Mula Prakriti. The single state of Father-Mother, which is the spiritual essence of the world substance, the cosmic space that was resting in the bliss of non-existence. What does it mean that mother and father were together? They were in the highest state as one. That is why we write father-mother together, as spirit and matter together. The notion of Svabhavat, given in this sloka, is translated from Sanskrit as the universal substance, or rather, substance, or what is behind it. But what can be there behind the world substance? It can be the spirit and essence of this substance. So we can define Swabhavat near the plane of spirit as the plane of Paranishpana, the plane of spirit beyond forms. The first three unmanifested planes are the triangle, the symbol of triangle, the head of circle. That is the spirit and essence of world substance. Is where the whole nature comes from, and that is where it goes in the end. And it will happen in the plane of pre-images or archetypes. That is where all cycles come from and go to. The whole second stanza, and we are considering the first impetus or the first sloka of the second stanza. The whole second stanza tells us of the first impetus of differentiating the space of the absolute that will lead to at the fifth from the plane of the band of creativity of the seven-ray star of the builders, the Devamatri, the mother of the world, the Svabhavat, essence of it, and they were resting in non-being or nirvana, the plane of archetypes. Let's consider the key point. The second stanza, first sloka, 2 + 1 is 3. The key point is 3. When the union of the 3 is accomplished, then each of the 3 is reflected in 2. And each of the 2 manifests itself in every third. So we can see how the rays go and constitutes one in him the phenomenon of his genius. So interesting, you can see every third is revealed in two firstly, and then out of two, he manifests in every third and gives one, number one, or unites everybody in this fivefold. Why is it genius? Why is he genius? The third state, or the mind, the monad, is becoming alive by this unity, penetration, merging of three in two, and of the third in every first. The monad becomes the divine unit. And that is how we understand this Pythagorean monad. It was told that monad is the divine one, and we've understood how it happens. This monad is genius because it's single, united, and gives this divine one. Let's consider these three components. Who are they? First one is Swabhavat, spirit and essence of the substance. The second one is the root of the world, or Deva-Matri, and the third one is the radiant sun. Other radiant suns, builders, creators of forms from non-forms, in their Ahiparanishpana. The key point is that by this way, in the dawn of Manvantara and differentiation, in the similar way in evolution of the human consciousness, these states cancel chains of Maya, personality, and cancel the rough manifestation of matter or selfness. How can these chains be broken, chains of personality? It happens when the three merge into the state of one. That is the triple key, the key point, the triple key, removing the Maya's circling embrace, the triple key in the plane of Paranishpana, where illusion disappears. We have the symbol of the great three-sided key, triangle in circle. Madame calls it the three-sided key. And if this great three-sided key is in the hands of a genuine disciple, then the power to unlock the wonderful door consisting of many parts united in the great synthesis is what we call love. That is the threefold evolution of matter, substance, and soul. Here is how life is expressed in its threefold evolution. Matter, substance, and soul are developed simultaneously and yet completely independent. It is only necessary to establish the relationship between them in order to comprehend their unity. The vibrational pulse of the keynote of each plane has a special character and a special tonality, or the way of movement. But how is this connection established? By the potential of creative thought, by this thought great movement, poetic movement that has an opportunity through the foundation of Akasha, either state of matter, penetrate or turn the creative potentiality of every plane that unites all the planes. That is the creative evolution of substance and soul. That is why the vibration impetus or the keynote of every plane has its own character, because every plane has its own speed, solidity, character of matter, and different ways of manifest every plane are connected to the planes, the astral plane, the subtle plane, the physical plane, etc. That is tonality of every plane. What is tonality? Tonality is a way to move. So every plane has a way to move. At the physical plane, this movement is slower than in the astral spiritual one, because the spiritual substance is established by tonality, or the way of movement and vibration is incomprehensible and high. Therefore, consciousness of the higher teachers studying it use analogies. What does it mean? It means find our own way of movement and tonality, to be researchers of our own nature. That is what we call, in a similar manner, applied to the first sloka of stanza 2, talking about heart and soul alive. There is no rough form in these higher planes. They're just colors of this great fire that is transforming and destroying consequences of causes born in other planes, because we should always take into account the two poles of being. What does it say here? It says that there is bipolar being. These two poles are connected, and this synthesis destroys consequences of causes born in other planes. Causes are born in one plane and are revealed in lower planes, in more solid planes, are where consequences take place. And why do teachers say that we should always take into account interaction between these two poles, to have the synthesis to connect, and by this great creative fire of synthesis that is established has power to transform, to rebuild, and to destroy consequences of causes born in other planes. Therefore, karma becomes faster, and we can talk of destroying this tail of karma that has consequences in other planes. The person can do that. In the spiritual plane, vibration is the fastest and becomes absolute movement. That is absolute calmness. That is a paradox, but still it's reality. Please look the planes of being here. Below you see the physical plane, slow actions. Then we go to the astral plane, or the plane of things and establishment, and the plane of mind and creativity with the 7-ray star. There the speed is faster. In the archetypes plane, we have almost no forms. We have non-form and disappearance. Vibration is highest and the speed is even greater. And we go into the first 3 non-revealed planes of spirit beyond form. The plane of spirit is even higher than in the plane of archetypes. The plane of gods, the 7-ray star, is even faster, and the plane of absolute being that has faster speed, and it's impossible to see it. It's unknown because it's light, blinding light, with the highest speed where everything disappears.
So the key point of what could seem as a paradox, yes, it is the truth that the human being is not able to understand their own nature, because they cannot deny themselves. They cannot look at their qualities from impersonal point of view. As a rule, the human being devotes all his time to observing only one part of himself, and the lowest on the evolutionary scale, the physical form. It means that in order to understand our own nature, it is necessary to rise above the lower, to approach the higher, and then we'll be able to see our qualities from an impersonal point of view, or raise the keynote of our state of consciousness, the tonality, to refine our ways of movement. This is where the possibility occurs to rise our tonality, to rise our keynote, the keynote of our own consciousness. And the evolution of the human being can raise this keynote of every plane. All the evolution of the matter is in the hands of the human being. When a person becomes more spiritualized according to all these transformations we've mentioned, when we rise from one plane to another, we raise from us every atom of matter that belongs to our individual aura. This is the power that human being has, the power to lift, to rise, to manifest every atom of matter, which means the atomic structure is manifested in the human being. And this is the tonality or the way of movement. And that's why the secret of atom, the mystery of atom, will never be revealed, because it is always being transformed, transfigured according to the evolution of our mind. It doesn't have any shape. It is always disappearing. It always manifests something different. That's why we cannot catch it. The physical atom can be splitted, yet its spiritual nature, which we are talking about in the first block of the second stanza, it is not possible to do it. This is how the every race reaches its perfection, and then all the matter associated with it becomes spiritualized. Everything is in the hands of humanity and the entity that guides the earth. The evolution of this entity raises the keynote, opening up the opportunity for a person to move forward. That's why genius have this incredible fast pace of thinking. They are above this dense world in their spirit. They can get the ideas from the plane of mind and creativity. They're flexible, they're plastic, they can unite the three worlds. They have become thin, refined, they have risen their keynote and changed their way of moving and moving forward. Because there is no stops in evolution. The matter, substance, forces, powers, they are developing all the time. And all the developed beings, human beings, they are self-aware. They understand their link, their connection to the earth as a live being. Yet they do not venerate this entity. They just understand it as an elder brother on this path. So the importance of application of the triple key in everybody's lives, this is where brotherhood is, where the human being realized its a connection to the planet, to this earth, and the earth has become the live entity. It is not just a shape, it is the fourth state. And when the form starts to live, to breathe, it becomes alive by this magnetic touch, by its ray, its movement. It unites, and the form starts to live with a different color of this higher astral plane. It gets united, and then the human being sees the earth as his elder brother, which correlates the light and lights its way. It's the elder brother that lends the hand to the smaller brother of humanity. This is where the brotherhood is, to see and to recognize, to get aware of our connection to the earth and makes it alive, to unite this worlds. And then the importance of the application of the triple key in everybody's lives will become the practical necessity. So the trinity of the matter, substance of the soul will get revealed and will reveal the evolution. You see, there is no mystery. If the triad, the, this trinity in its union starts to manifest. And while manifesting, it reveals all the mysteries, whatever they are, whether they are creative or destroying. This is the power. Yet, what is the matter? The matter or the force or consciousness. Let us see what is the substance through the planes of being. The substance is the force. Where is the substance? Where is the matter? Where is the builder, Sabhavat, the root of Dharmatri, and the soul? 3 in the bottom and 3 above. And they correspond to the matter, substance of the soul, Sabhavat, and the root of the world, Devamatri. This is all the mystery. There is not manifested and manifested. There is the cause and the effect. There is the higher and the lower or more dense state of nature which led the builders build, which let Sabhavat transfer the germ of the spirit, and root of the world Devamatra brings the warmth and life to every person's soul. On the plane of Manas, where the unifying force is applied to the substance matter of the higher vibration, as in the case of 2 or more individual minds, where the energy dominating their combination or unification will also be the energy of cohesion. Let us see how it may happen, how the cohesion occurs, how Sabhavat or the root or potential future monad transfers its force to every plane, from the plane of spirit to plane of archetypes, from plane of archetypes to plane of mind creativity, then to the astral plane, and then to the physical plane. And here is the brotherhood, where we are all united. By all these components, the cohesion occurs. What happens next? Next, we see the attraction, the warmth, and heat, attraction, repulsion are first trinity of the spirit and manifestations. These are the 3 of the 7 sons of Ehud and movement. Ehud is the driving force of the universe, or the reason. What reason? The reason of heat, attraction, and repulsion, or the first 3 sons. First 3 sons is the first ray from sun. Sun and moon is the first ray. When this first ray of sun in the space gets, what does it give? It gives heat. And then happens attraction from the moon to Mars. Mars is the attraction, the spirit. The spirit is always attraction. What is interesting that the third ray goes to the Mercury. Mercury is Buddhi. It's interesting how Buddhi can bring repulsion, since it is wisdom. But if we follow the rays, how the 7 ray star is being built from the sun to moon, from moon to Mars, from Mars to Mercury, and to Jupiter. So Buddhi does not repulse the conscious part. It gets into Jupiter, opening the heart. This is its impetus of wisdom. The heart of Jupiter becomes wise. This is why heat, attraction, repulsion is the first trinity of Buddhi, or first trinity of spirit in manifestation, the unity of the sons of Ehud. When we put as foundation for the powerful achievements of the great creators of our consciousness, we will proceed to the third stage. We'll have a look at this development of our thought, our creativity. And from new combinations, we will carve new sparks of the fire of thought, this crown of the universe. Have a look by the spiral movement. We can carve the new sparks, and by doing this, we will become the builders of the 7 chambers. There is a very interesting notion in the teachings, is 9 chambers. What are these 9 chambers? When we apply to the first log of the second stanza, we can see what are the 9 chambers. They are 2 horizontal lines and 2 vertical lines. Their intersection gives the main pillar to the Trinity. In the center, we can see it 1, 2, 3, and a descending branch 4, 5, 6, and the ascending branch 7, 8, 9, which means 1, 2, 3 are mind, the foundation of light. Then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 are inner or internal and external manifestation of itself. What is itself? It's mind or the pillar of light. So this pillar 1, 2, 3 has its movement, internal and external. This how from inside to outside, outwards, it manifests itself. Let's have a look how it is manifested through numbers. The pillar of light first, 1, 2, 3, makes 6. It's sum. The descending branch 4, 5, 6 makes 15, or which makes 6 as a sum. The ascension 7, 8, 9, last of the chambers makes 24, which makes 6. Have a look. Ascension gives 24. It is the number of the Lord M. The Lord M showed us with this ascending ray the power, the ascending power of 24. So what do we have? The first pillar, 1, 2, 3, 6, descending line 6, ascending line 6. All together 3, 6 makes 9 as the sum. So here are the 9 chambers. 9 is a spiritualization of the matter through mind, and the mind is the foundation of light. This is how all 9 chambers were revealed in their meaning. Let us have a look how it looks on the planes of existence or being. First 6, second 6, and third 6. And the great number of 666, which mean states or 9 chambers, means 9 chambers. 666 are 9 chambers of spiritualization of the matter through mind. That's why the number of monads of the human evolution is limited. We have 666 monads to evolve or become consciousness. This is one of the mysteries revealed. We also can have a look at another aspect of how it happens. When now in the planes of being, we look at these 9 chambers. You see 2 vertical lines, 2 horizontal lines define the planes of being of the 9 chambers. Thus, the iron ball placed under the scorching rays of the sun will get heated through, but will not feel or appreciate the warmth, while a man will. It is only with the mind clear and undarkened by personality and as assimilation of the merit of manifold existences devoted to being in its collectivity. What is collectivity? The whole living and sentient universe. The human that gets free from the personal being, existence, and merging into becomes one with the Absolute and continuing in full possession of Paramatra, or the white ray in all the collectivity. The human being may fully possess the Paramatra, become the white ray. The white ray passed through the aura of a person on the screen can color brighter those colored glasses only that are in accordance with the color of the aura. In attempting to analyze or investigate the heart, he must use precisely those faculties that he has not been taught to appreciate for centuries. What are these faculties? First of them is imagination and then intuition. So, for the great soul, it is not possible at present to manifest itself on the physical plane in one body. Before this can happen, the rate of vibration of the matter of this physical and astral planes must increase. The separation of the two halves from each other takes place on the higher astral plane, and it is there that the reunion takes place. But what is this force? What is this body? It is the ether body. It is situated between physical and astral body, and it exactly gives the strength to merge. Through the ether body, they merge into the fourth state, 3, 2, 4, the fourth state, which corresponds to the lower manas, Jupiter, and opens the heart. This is how the etheric body or etheric double has the power to go beyond or to get refined the dense body, to let it go to the higher plane by merging the bodies. And this is how uh, the heart opens and we acquire the power of the open heart. On the planes of the human bodies, it is the lower manas. The principle is the sun, physical, earthly sun, which provides us with the warmth to life, the warmth to the soul of every person. The soul is animated by love when two halves had the possibility to merge on the astral plane. Where this merging happened, the heart is open, and then the sun of light starts to bring life, or this bridge of Antakarana lets vibrations to rise, the tonality to rise, to reveal the better, higher, faster way of movement. This thought is told by Yelena Ivanovna Rerik in 3 keys. The practice of applying this wisdom. These 3 great keys are stored not on other planes, not other planets, not in other star worlds, but in oneself. And the power we have to unite the astral body through the etheric body, when it becomes pure, when the consciousness becomes thin, refined, then all these planes can merge and the heart will open. And with open heart, another correlation of color will shine. Then happens this attraction, the attraction of the spirit, when we can see that around this person all the matter transforms, changes, the life transfigures, the mind changes. And the names of these keys are love, beauty, and knowledge. Helena Ivanovna tells, remember these paths, follow them, and point them out to others. Because in every act, we should show mobility, love, and wisdom or prudence. You see, in every act, there is this keys, mobility, love, and patience. Choose good friends and multiply your good qualities in communication with them. Read good books with them, draw conclusions, and try to remember and implement all the best. Work out in yourself plans and ways to create a beautiful, reasonable life, devoid of passivity, full of work and harmony in your relationship to everything around you. Develop firmness and consistency in yourself and do not entertain yourself while working. So be responsible, be serious. Try to clear your speech of empty and meaningless words. Let your speech be clear, intelligible, and concise. And it can only be possible when we work, when we have this vibration. We do not waste the vibration for useless words. All the speech of this person only express the clear action. Then the speech in this work will be clear, intelligible, and concise. Leave the place where there is empty chatter, where there is anger and hatred, where discord, harmful entertainment, and stupidity reign. Which means do not be afraid to leave this kind of place, to move forward to the harbor of purity, of our own warmth of heart, and it will live there. There is no fear because you have learned the eternity. Don't be fidgety, eradicate the lie, be honest and friendly. Develop a wider sense of nobility in yourself and be polite and simple in communicating with people. The feeling of fear should also be alien to you. Be balanced in pleasure and in suffering, in joy and sorrow. Always forgive and respond with love to hate. This is only way you can defeat the ill will. Your thoughts are your children, and you ought to make each of them beautiful. Every thought should be a creative force aimed at good. Always remember that the power of thought is great. Prepare to use it to help the world. Be accurate in everything and truthful and clear in your actions. Otherwise, you can't be assigned important work, because life must flow through you in all its brilliance and power. Do not allow unimportant things to weaken your perseverance in achieving the goal. So you should know how to recognize the eternal from the mundane. Only the most important, the foundation which will give you the power to achieve the goal. Life and love. This is the power. They are powerful force, thanks to which everything exists in the world. Love is the power that rules the world. Everything that is done for its sake has the power of the world's law. Only with love for everything can you defeat the evil. Bring love wherever you go, and you will soon understand how it helps you in all your ways. Be pure. Let love flow through you like scent flows from a flower. Make a firm and unwavering decision to become an expression of love and willingness to help wherever you can do it. Let your life be a ray of joy for others. Look for diamonds in your soul that you could put in the treasury of the common good. It should acquire transparency like a ray or penetration, which means becomes as light and as radiant as a white ray which cannot be measured since it is essentially transparent light. And then light and darkness, and heat and cold, and good and evil, and God and the devil, and everything imaginable. There are thoughts that find themselves inside the mind, the only one, the very one, which realizes itself as I am, embodied in each of us, right here and right now, and showing itself to us in general with all the white light in all imaginable colors and sensations. That is, those whom we have already forgotten how to recognize in our neighbor, loving us all as himself. The key point of the first sloka, second stanza, is the names of the three: love, Swabhavat, the beauty, the root of the world, Devamatri, and the knowledge, the builder. Look, we have revealed three keys or three key points which correspond to the first sloka notion. Svabhavat means love. The builders are knowledge, and the beauty is the root of the world, Devamatri. But whilst they rested in the bliss of non-being, but the cycle will come when they start their manifestation, and it depends on the human being to keep the transparency of each of them.
Вот так мы с вами посмотрели.
Therefore, you've considered the information and we can see correspondence of similar notions that are quite abstract in slokas of stanzas in the sacred doctrine. Interesting to note this question that is there in the stanzas with a corresponding answer there. We've managed to see this great trinity in this sloka, in this stanza. That is, as you see, can win the evolution of matter in this substance, in this self-beauty, knowledge, and builders. Builders of what? Builders of the 9 chambers, the secondary, the building substance. The 9, by putting every plane in connecting these 3 together, these are the revelations that seem to be the key moments where you can reach them, penetrate them, and see the new in notions, in movements, or upscale your own tonality and motion. We see questions about this sloka, and right now I'll read them out loud and ask Mr. Yari answer, and then we'll discuss the questions we've received. The question is the following: if the unknown darkness is the absolute non-being, then the start of the new Mahamanvantara, is it the start of the great Maya or not? That is the question, Mr. Yari. We'll reach Maya because Maya is actually in the plane of archetypes. That is where Maya is born as the cause evolution of or developing the consciousness for all kinds of living beings. At any plane of being, or the whole higher planes and the lower planes as well. Here we consider this great Maya that should have been called Maya from the big letter. It's clear that the unknown darkness is the absolute non-being. It has its revelation of light. Movement of this light is the start of Mahamanvantara or Manvantara. The cycles that contain themselves and their own. And Maya is any Maya illusion, which is not absolute, is illusion of Maya. But we should keep in mind that there is a stage where the illusion finishes in Paranishpana. Paranishpana is correspondence of the plane of spirit beyond forms, where Maya finishes. There is no Maya there already. The great mind or the light, the third component of the 3 planes of spirit beyond forms, in its unity, burns this illusion because it's already the absolute light or the basis. If you imagine a human being as a mind or consciousness, then you understand this construction of the planes of being, all planes have projections in our mind, and you'll see that the Kalachakra wheel reflects our mind with all potentialities, features, qualities that are called actually mind in the human being. The consciousness uses the mind, and if the mind is dark, then the consciousness reveals the illusion of the world, lives in this illusion, dwells into this illusion, and when the mind is free, then the consciousness operates the mind and dwells down to the essence of all things and reveals them. I'd like to ask one more question in here live. The question is, what is the bliss of non-being? The sloka with the Devamatri and the Swabhavat were there in the bliss of non-being. What is it? It's rest from all things being around, rest from vanity. And in this clarity, there is non-being. It becomes evident, and it's felt by the Upana of Dharma. Here is this state. One more question. How to enter the state of causeless cause? For every person, there are the gates for entering. If you are interested in our experience, in particular, then this state
складывается от того, что ты
is
ничего
established from not knowing anything. So you're dumb as a tree, you don't know anything. There is this state. You have nothing to operate and no words to say, no expressions. You just become the state itself. And that's it. The state of emptiness, all fullness inside, and clarity. Here is the state. It's also called the overwhelming love, as the belief of non-being. This phrase that the builders of forms from non-forms, Devamatra, the root of the world, and Swabhavat were resting. They were resting, they were one. And as we were mentioning, the three states, they were merged into one. There was no division. And if everything is one, it's the state of complete rest. And here is the bliss. The same happens in the human soul when the human being is divided, put apart. Then here is the state of being divided, emotions, etc. And only in unity this state of bliss or rest is possible. There is correspondence. As for it's an interesting thought that before the sacred doctrine was given by our teachers through Madame Blavatsky, religion and philosophical schools in human evolution were only touching upon the causes plane. The archetype's plane as the plane of causes was the peak, and the thought was not going higher. It was the evolution of periods instead of eras overcome by humanity that this great secret was not revealed. But then Madame Blavatsky came, and so were the circumstances that the circumstances were given. And the first thing mentioned by Madame Blavatsky was this new foundation that the root of cause is the causeless cause. The causeless cause is absolute. How to reach this absolute state? To die for this world, and to be reborn in other world as a phoenix, and this fire of rebirth will probably give this state of causeless cause where the consequences will be burned down. The human being is dead when he or she feels his or her ignorance. There is the reason for dying, the reason for destruction, for throwing the person into illusion of life. Thank you so much for your questions. Thank you for writing into the chat and for being in touch. Dear friends, today we have the last class in this semester. As in the real school, where we study from September till May, and we have summer holidays, or what we call a new mode of motion or practical application. For the 9 months, as the 9 chambers we've been studying, we've been getting to know something, and in 3 months, we should reveal this knowledge into practice. That is why we have this rest month. Today, we have the last class in this semester, and we'll meet on the 15th of September, and we'll start to study the second sloka of the second stanza. We have 3 months to become aware and to practice, to apply the first sloka of the second stanza. Don't forget about the constellation of Taurus we're in, and the month of May we're in. It is the month that gives us
возможность, которая увеличивает наши способности.
The powerful sparkle that multiplies our forces into many times. Here are revelations inside and reveal of capacities, or the memory of the spirit. It is the resurrection memory. In order to take this power, ahi, and breathe with the higher world, the higher thought. We thank all participants of the online class, as well as our interpreters who've been interpreting today's online class and bringing to our foreign partners and listeners from other countries all thoughts we were trying to express, all understanding we were trying to share. Today, we've had Alexander Bobko and Olga Tomchuk as interpreters. Thank you so much. Thank you for your efforts, for your heart, for understanding materials of the sacred doctrine and the desire to share this knowledge with the whole world community. Thank you so much. I also thank the technical support that made it possible to connect Maxim Yudgori, Alexander Kuleshov, and Yuri Butin with technical support. Thank you so much for being with us, and thank you for maintaining technical support at the online class. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you all participants who've been in touch with us for the 2 hours. Please do pose your questions in these 3 months and write the email, be in touch. Also, don't say goodbye. We'll hold one more seminar, the International Philosophical Seminar with international speakers, where we'll study for the second stanza on the 28th of May. We're waiting for you. Please be with us. It will be the last seminar in this semester of studies. We're so grateful to you for being with us, for holding all these seminars that have been last year, this year, and that made it possible to start understanding together, because the thought turn life in this information space is being born now, here and now, and it's impossible to repeat it. It's been penetrating, and we are acting as a magnet together, being light and love. I'd like to say that the school always took place on Thursday, but try to enter on Friday, because Thursday is the pure Thursday called so. On Thursday, there is exoteric understanding, intellectual things that put grains inside. And on Friday, we should spiritualize and spiritualize these grains, make them grow. And these 2 days, Thursday and Friday, should be working days, and try to keep this rhyme. Actually, Friday corresponds to the higher mind or manas. So let us be rational and be together in common rhyme in trying to get the fundamental knowledge of the secret doctrine by Madame Blavatsky. See you on the 15th of September. Please do be with us, and let's keep in touch. We're waiting for your questions, and wish you light and love.
The Secret Doctrine by Blavatsky. Dedicated to all true Theosophists. Book of the Third Millennium.
Blavatsky only knew